Hello and welcome to Funny Science Fiction, the live edition. Woo! Hello and welcome, Funny Science Fiction live people. This is the Funny Science Fiction podcast. This, of course, is the live edition. And I'm just happy to be out of the house on a Monday. What can I say? Anyway, this is... That's a side note. You're welcome. This is the podcast that reminded everyone that the House of Skywalker will never govern Arrakis to control the flow of spice because of sand. According to Anakin, I don't like sand. It's coarse, it's rough, and irritating, and it gets everywhere.
And before we get into tonight's show, we need to say thanks to our show partners, River City Teas and Level Up Lightsabers.
Let's roll the nerdy footage.
With over 700 designs to choose from, River City Teas has something for everyone. Need some new nerd merch? River City Teas has you covered. Need funny or sarcastic designs? River City Teas has you covered. Are you looking for a new logo or custom design? Whether you need 1 or 100, River City Teas has you covered. With multiple colors and options for each and every design. With things to choose from like shirts, hoodies, phone cases, coffee mugs, and so much more. Be sure to follow River City Teas on Facebook and Instagram. If you do, you'll get the latest on designs and information about upcoming sales. River City Teas. Let's make a shirt together. I just want to point something out. So, before we go into the next video, someone else is making nefarious comments on the Funny Science Fiction podcast handle, and that goes out to the Twitter and Twitch handle as the podcast guy with my face on them. That was Nick.
I was responding to John's comment here.
Yes, John, it's Monday again. How's it going? Hello, Wasp family. Enjoy your night off, Kathleen. And that's why I forgot to do this originally before the video started because I am a horrible host. But we do have Josh here tonight, one of the founding members of the Funny Science Fiction family. And of course, Josh is also Nick's brother, Bro Josh. So welcome back, Bro Josh.
Thanks. It's good to be here. I thought about making my name Kathleen, down here below in the lower left-hand corner. So, but I don't think I would have fooled anybody. Maybe I just got a, new pixie cut or something or whatever this is called. Female. If it was female, what if I don't know.
You might have been able to sell it.
Still a comb over, I guess. But
it's a yeah.
Links right. for both the River City Teas and Level Up Lightsabers can be found in our show notes and in the comments section.
We didn't even play the Level Up Lightsabers video.
Oh, we didn't?
Do that. No, just I interrupted the videos and started.
Well, there's
talking.
links. There's links.
There will be links. And after we play this, there will be links.
Now you can say your line, Josh.
Oh, yeah, there's links.
There's definitely links. Hey, Kathleen, yes, we are no better without you than we are with you. If it makes you feel any better, we're just as much of a train wreck. All right, and John says, don't make her angry. She might pull out your arms and out of their sockets. Are you saying she's like a Wookiee? Anyway, that was a really bad Wookiee impression. Horrible Wookiee impression, and that was live and we can't edit it out. That's awesome. All right.
Tonight, we welcome 2 podcasters to our live show, Anna and Same.
Sam, that was a typo. That's Anna and Sam. Or
good old autocorrect,
For the rest of the night, he might just be Same because it might be fun. But see how much he's game for that. Welcome, guys.
Thanks, y'all. We're happy to be here.
Yeah. Well, I'm just glad that after the train wreck that was the first 5 minutes of the show, you weren't like, nope, we got to go.
That was delightful.
Yeah.
We were laughing. We were laughing back here.
Well,
Well,
that's good.
Yeah.
Somebody has to. I'm crying on the inside. So I'm really excited to have you guys here tonight. Now, Anna and I have been talking a little bit. We've met through some podcasting groups, and I'm very excited to have them on the show because they have an amazing podcast that I want them to talk about here in just a second. But I'm a fan. I'm a subscriber. I have been listening. I've really enjoyed your guys' content thus far. So if you would please, before we get into tonight's topic and we start talking a little nerdy here, if you would share with everybody the name of, we already shared it, but again, share the name of your show, your content, where people can find you, and ultimately why they should be paying attention to Growing Up Skywalker.
Absolutely. Okay, let me start. Hi, my name's Anna, and this is Sam, my co-host, and we are the hosts of Growing Up Skywalker. It is a weekly Star Wars podcast that is every Tuesday without fail.
Never failed once.
Never failed more than twice. So we're moving through the Lucasfilm universe in universe chronology, which means that we started with the prequels. We're in season 3 of the Clone Wars.
Yes.
And what makes this fun is that Sam is the Star Wars expert and I am the noob. And I'm pretty much seeing Star Wars for the first time. So
when we met, she had never seen any Star Wars at all.
And I met this cute boy and I was like, how do I hang out with him more? I guess I have to watch Star Wars now.
That's the trade-off. That's the trade-off.
That's how you do it. You rope them in. So we have been having really fun conversations since May the 4th be with you, 2021. And yeah, we're on season 3 of the Clone Wars.
Excellent. Have you seen all the shows before that?
Oh,
the
no.
Clone Wars? Well, no. So she hadn't watched any of it. I've watched all of it. And so that's, even Resistance. And so we're going to go through all of them. And this is, these people exist, people who haven't seen Star Wars. So that's something we're trying to kind of deal with, is that, for example, my parents and her parents saw original trilogy in the theaters even, and then what else do they want to watch? They see the Clone Wars, they're like, oh, it's a kids show because it's animated, but it's got the most important stuff. So the ability to tell this story and to tell it from the point of view of someone who hasn't seen it before and with eyes from 2021 is really important.
We're having so much fun with it.
We really are.
Awesome.
Well, and the cool thing is, so for somebody listening to that, and I think, Anna, you tried to explain some of that to me through text, and I must have missed some of it. I didn't realize that I thought you had not just seen just the Clone Wars. So
Oh no.
Yeah. So I wasn't aware that you hadn't seen all of it.
So I'll tell you the journey because I think it's fun. Sam started me on The Mandalorian, which is a phenomenal way to get any new Star Wars fan involved because, like, who can resist Baby Yoda? I go feral and I'm not even a kid person. So hot tip, if you're trying to get someone into Star Wars, start with Mando.
Nice.
And then we went through and I saw the 11 feature films, but Clone Wars, Resistance, Rebels, this is totally new ground for me.
Although she already loves Hera just from hearing me talk about her, even though she's never seen her.
Hera's amazing, by the way.
Right?
Have you mentioned Thrawn yet?
Yes.
Okay.
I try to keep that secret because Thrawn is
gives me the giggles.
Best. He is the best. He's the best villain. I love his cadence of talking.
The problem is that I think I'm picturing Thanos from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I gather that's not right.
It's not. It's wrong.
No, but it's kind of cool.
It is. Yeah.
It's the skin tone. It's
less sprinkly and blue.
And the scariness. Because Thrawn is scary.
Yeah.
No chin venting.
Yeah, no chin vents. Yeah, he's Thrawn is serious scary. He's got this ability without giving anything away or explaining anything about his character. He's just, his demeanor, the way he presents himself, the way he carries himself is intimidating.
Yep.
And I think that's where the what makes him such a great villain. He doesn't have to be unnecessarily violent or degrading or all those other things that many villains tend to end up becoming. It's just his demeanor, the way he carries and presents himself. And you go, oh, it makes you pay attention.
Yeah.
If you've ever read Sun Tzu's Art of War, I mean, Thrawn is kind of the guy who wrote it in the Star Wars universe.
He's the personification of that book.
He's just like, I am, he doesn't show nothing as far as like how, like, okay, maybe his plan was foiled.
I think you would be astonished at how much Sam brings up the Art of War in Growing Up Skywalker.
Yeah, it's that and Book of Five Rings by Musashi are things that come up a fair bit just in terms of and Napoleon, the surface level that is exposed, because the Clone Wars is a bunch of war movies, back to back.
Totally. You can just keep talking. I'm enjoying this. This is
so
awesome.
That's our podcast, and out of all the things, it was her idea.
Even better.
Yeah. I think we were talking about Satine. I saw a couple scattered Clone Wars episodes. I wasn't really paying attention. We were on a really long car ride through Colorado, almost down to New Mexico, and we just couldn't shut up about Star Wars. And I was like, okay, we probably need to be recording this.
I love it.
Excellent. Nice. Yeah, so when you explained it to me about the podcast and what it was, I was like, oh, okay. And when the couple of the shows that I've watched, or not watched, but I've listened to thus far, have all been about different Clone Wars episodes. Mm-hmm. And so one of the things I will give you guys credit for right away is the fact that, yes, it's kind of like a scene by scene breakdown, but it's not so deep that it's just like you go, shut up, I'll just watch the show. And
that's good.
I didn't feel at any time listening to it that I would have been better off just to watch the show, because I like the fact that you were pulling in information from other shows and how this tied into this, and without going so deep that you were going to lose a first time listener rather.
That's good to hear. I worry about the plot pacing sometimes. We get excited about the nitty gritty details.
Especially because our structure is by arc, right? So we'll watch even 3 episodes in one podcast, and then we have to kind of hit all the points really fast before we can start talking about the important parts.
Those triple headers, we need to be concise. Yeah.
No, I think you guys do a really good job at that, at your pacing and your structure and how you're bringing the information forward. So kudos to you guys on a really well-rounded show. So
thank you very much.
And because of how good your show is, that's what got you here. I'm sorry, Josh. Please.
No, it's okay. I was just going to say that I really I appreciate you guys actually taking advantage of I think a show structure that mirrors the very common situation that a couple finds themselves in when one likes Star Wars and starts that out, and one's like, what's Star Wars? And I've never watched that, or whatever it might be. And that's really cool. You guys are playing on that and actually enjoying the process. So I'm sure that's incredibly fun for listeners to actually, so one guy's all into it, right? And then the other person's really excited about that, right? Because it's new and so it helps people like both really get deep and nerdy, as well as enjoy the moments that they remember enjoying.
We get excited about different things too. In the Deserter arc, if you'll recall, Cutla Quain and Sue, his wife, I was like teared up at the first time you see him when he's sitting there, hands the pistol to Rex, and it's like, protect my family. I'm tearing up now. And she's like, whatever. But then in Rookies, when we see like Heavy, who's just like, oh, it's Heavy. It's one episode, and Droid Bait, one episode. She's like,
Okay, Sam makes fun of me. He's like, you don't cry at the man who's prepared to die for his family. You cry at a bunch of clones about to fail their high school graduation. That is completely true. We actually
bad flashbacks to exams.
Oh, yeah. Well, we have the cryometer on our website where we keep a running list of all the episodes that make me cry. And The Deserter actually was the first time that Sam has cried in the course of the podcast. So
far only.
It was a victory.
I'll buckle up for Rebels. So anyway, glad to have you here.
Thanks.
So that's all I'm going to say about that. We'll make sure. Let's see. John says, I know people who have had their significant other watch all of Star Trek and those poor folks, and all of Star Trek in chronological order by star date. It could be a brutal undertaking. Oh, dear God.
I watched it all by Stardate. It was fantastic, but that was tough for me flying solo. That was because that's 30 seasons or something, you know? It's
and
crazy.
most importantly, it's Star Trek. Oof. So anyway, it's nice how Kathleen's taking the night off, but still enjoying our show. I'm glad to have her. I pick on her a lot. She's like my little sister, unfortunately. Anyway, so let's get into tonight's topic. We're running a little bit behind because I wanted to nerd out about your guys' show. Because I'm so excited to have you guys here, and I like your show so much. I don't know if I've said that, but just in case, here we are anyway. All right, so tonight we invited Anna and Sam here, and I did type it same there again. That's fantastic.
So
yeah.
I gotta confess something. I actually saw that you wrote it down there, and I just typed it up in mine because I just wanted it to.
He's correcting it wrong because he typed it wrong once.
How do I throw Tim under the bus? I type it wrongly and say it wrongly. Anyway, we have them here tonight to talk about the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian and what we liked about The Mandalorian, where we're hoping that this leads going in, because in just a couple weeks now, the Book of Boba Fett arrives. Giggity. And soon to be hopefully followed by ObiWan and Ahsoka.
I've got something that will get us all into the mood.
Well,
okay.
Drum roll, please.
This is fantastic. I'm glad we're playing this.
So it'd be nice to hear it.
Oh, you can't hear it?
We don't hear anything.
Yeah, I just see a picture of Mando.
Yeah, which is cool. But...
Which is great.
It's a great picture. Don't get me wrong. I missed the razor, but you know.
Yeah.
Pour one out for the Razor Crest.
Oh, that's what I gotta do. There we go.
Darth Grogu. Nice.
Is that better?
Nope.
Nope.
Not at
Still
all.
nothing.
This is, you know, have a live show. They said it'll be fun. They said. All right. So while Nick's trying to set the mood, we'll go ahead and get started and talking about the Mandalorian. Just don't turn your lights down low, Nick. It will be fine. So as you guys are listening to this train wreck, if you have anything in the audience that you want to add in, any comments, any points about the Mandalorian that were your favorites, if you like our thoughts, tell us. You don't like it, you don't think that was a good pick, tell us. We'll be happy to hear what you guys have to say, and we'll put it up on the screen and we can talk about your choice as well. All right, so first impressions of the Mandalorian season 1. Anybody?
Season 1 is fascinating to me. It starts off and it's got that Firefly-esque Western feel, which is just a classic thing to add to Star Wars. And it brings back so much of the original trilogy, not just in the starships, which is how I, set time in the Star Wars universe. If it's a TIE fighter, it's original trilogy era. And seeing that, as well as the decay at the end of the Imperial era and how things were really difficult, was really, really cool. And when you first see that Mandalorian armor, it's just amazing. And then Baby Yoda, I didn't expect to love as much as I did, but they did such a great job with the animatronics. It's insane. That is a work of art.
Well, it's a $5 million puppet, so I hope so.
Wow, it better be nice.
They spent $5 million on that thing.
I think 6. Yeah, because it's a puppet and it's got individual fingers and ears and stuff. Yeah,
it's got to be able to move animatronically. So yeah,
I'm pretty sure you can build it for like 100,000. Come on,
go for it.
A little bit of green felt and some couple pieces of charcoal. I can build one over here for $50. We can do this. So,
Kermit the Frog's baby brother.
Yeah,
that's right. I think for me, one of the things that I most appreciated about it was that, most of the time outside of, so take the animated series away from the Star Wars world for just a moment. The only time we ever really see anything from Mandalore is just 19 minutes of screen time for Boba Fett. You know, in the whole original trilogy, he has less than 19 minutes of screen time. And so I think it's important from the visual aspect and the learning aspect that we get to see a little bit of the Mandalorian culture, even though from what we gather, Mando is not a true Mandalorian. He's been raised in the guilds and taught the ways. I think it's kind of interesting that we get to see that background and, you know, the different things that they do so he can eat froggies. Well, there's that. Those are Froggy Eggs season 2. But yeah, so I really, for me, that was kind of the cool thing to be able to see, you know, and then when you reinsert what you do know of the Mandalorian culture from the animated series, it really kind of created kind of a richness to Mando's character and what he was doing, why he was doing it, you know, all these different things. And I have one thing that is kind of still kind of a surprise to me. There's 2 characters that I did not expect to like, but I ended up liking. And this is going to cross over into season 2, but that's fine. We're just going to jump around. There's no real set structure to this. I did not expect to like Bill Burr's character.
Oh yeah, Mayfeld.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did not expect to like him at all.
Who's that?
The bald one that they have in the prison break.
With the back gun.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I did not expect him to, you know, I've never seen Bill Burr as an actor. I've always seen him as a stand-up comedian. I've never seen him do anything really where I was like, yeah, he was good in that. But I didn't like his first pass through in the prison scene. I was like, yeah, that's just Bill Burr. It's okay. But in his second pass through, when he's helping, you know, get the Baby Yoda and the Darksaber and all these different things, then I was like, all right, he grew on me.
He turns into this character with a tragic backstory, right? It's
yeah.
In the one sense, you're looking at Bill Burr as a comedian, and then all of a sudden he is this tragic ex-military, like betrayed person with resentments and with something to prove. And I think we just rewatched his episode last night, and that moment when he wanders off into the jungle after they blew up the secret, you know, Empire manufacturing base, it's kind of amazing because the sense you get is that he's going to go cause havoc for the Empire. I mean, that's a redemption arc.
I kind of want to see what happens next with him.
We kind of wanted a mini series.
I would have actually been very okay. You know, I know that originally, and the other portion of this is that the other character I didn't expect to like was Cara Dune.
I agree. I think her physicality that she brought to the role is very cool because that's something that particularly the prequels didn't do so well. They brought some really cool, flashy lightsaber moves, but when you actually see people beating each other up using MMA moves, it looks real, it feels real, and it brought a lot to those episodes.
And when do you get to see beefy women in media? Like, that was a revolution for me.
Yeah. It had nothing to do with Gina Carano's political stance or her ideals or anything like that. Again, it's another person where I was never really keen on their acting. She was in Deadpool, you know, and as Angel Dust, I didn't really care for that character either. It's just kind of, she's always been kind of like the person on the side where I'm like, yeah, it's Gina Carano. But I got to grow to like Cara Dune, and I know that she was originally, I think, you know, supposed to have the Rangers show that was going to be the spinoff. And when that kind of crashed and burned with her relationship with Disney, I was kind of hoping that was when they might bring in Bill Burr's character and let Mayfield go and be, you know, the Ranger. And I'm still hoping that somebody at Disney. So if anybody at Disney hears this and you want to steal that idea, please feel free. Just give me an executive producer credit and let me talk to anybody on the Star Wars lot that I want to. And we're good. That's it. That's all I got.
I think
you don't even have to pay me. Just
if they wanted to keep that alive, they should have brought in, or a good idea would be Hera as a Ranger of the New Republic, as sort of.
I've heard that, and I would be very much into that. I could see, well, you know, based on her character and how she is portrayed in Rebels, I think that would be an easy step over. There's not, you know, because the way that she portrays her character in Rebels, she is pretty much ranger, the leader, this is how it's going to happen. So
okay, I'm going to throw a character out there, and I want to hear y'all's thoughts and perspectives. What do we think about Queel from season 1?
Was he the that guy?
The Ugnaught.
I did like him. He seemed to have almost like a shepherd book type of personality kind of thing, where he has this backstory. He worked really hard to no longer become a slave. And I actually just watched season 1 again today, and I was like, huh, I noticed he mentioned that he worked 2 human lifetimes.
Do you want the quote? I come with homework prepared. I actually have this written down. I bought my freedom through the skill of my hands and the labor of 3 of your human lifetimes.
It was 3. Yeah. So I was like, huh, that's interesting.
Okay, I had to look him up. I couldn't remember who he was. Oh, you should have just said I have spoken. Then I would have been like, oh yeah, I know who we're talking about.
I think Queel is such a purely good character in terms of morality. He has this like deep understanding of the world. He has this big picture view of peace and what his part is in it. And I gotta say, Queel is probably the most emotionally invested I've gotten in a character in the Star Wars universe, and that includes Baby Yoda.
So did you cry when he died?
Oh, you better believe it. It was awful. I had to take an Advil.
I was just really upset that he froze Han Solo. That's all.
Or he was helping out Hondo Ohnaka steal Y-Wings for the rebellion.
There you go.
There you go. Yeah. I think it's I thought he was really cool. I do agree with you. I think he is one of the purest characters probably in the show. There wasn't anything that was there wasn't a hidden agenda. It was, this is what it is. This is who I am. This is what I'm going to do for you. The fact that he wouldn't take anything to help Mando, he was just going to do it. And, and of course, then there's the line, I have spoken. So that's always kind of cool. That, not that ever got used at my house with my kids at any point after that, only every day. So I have spoken. But, anybody else have anything from season 1 and season 2 of Mando that they particularly appreciated? Because I have a couple, but
kind of going back to one of our earlier topics of how you were saying the Mandalorian's a good gateway into Star Wars. I was like thinking, because I literally just told another friend this, I was like, well, you should really start with Clone Wars at least, because there are things in the Mandalorian that are like amazingly exciting, but you don't know why unless you've seen the Clone Wars.
True.
So
I'll give you that.
Yeah, we definitely had a moment like that when I first saw Ahsoka or a lightsaber or something. I'm like, and she's like, who's this weird girl? I don't get her.
And I think by watching the Clone Wars series first, or even just like the last 4 in episode of season 7, I think just kind of sums up a lot of it. That way you can basically, that way okay, this is who Ahsoka is. You don't really see much of the Darksaber in that, though, do you?
One of the things I appreciate that Disney Plus does is that they have, if you're trying to get like a heads up on certain characters, they have the Ahsoka Essential episodes. Yeah. And so if you needed to catch up just on who and what Ahsoka is, you could go into those. And I think they have a couple episodes from Clone Wars, a couple episodes from Rebels, and then it leads up into, and then they have the couple episodes of Mando, where you can kind of get a basis for who and what she is and her growth over the years. But Sam, I too had a massive fangirl moment as soon as the white lightsaber lit up, and I was literally in my living room like, ah!
Yeah, it was crazy. And then
that was the noise
when she
that was the noise. Yes,
when she asks after Thrawn, And when they're saying, where is the dark saber? It's pulling so much from the previous thing. So I agree with you, Nick, that there's so much history in it. That's part of why we're watching it, in universe chronological order, because it adds so much.
But I will say the genius of Mando is that it's created in the era where people know that there are varying levels of Star Wars knowledge. And I think it's made in such a way that you see Ahsoka come on screen and you've never seen Ahsoka before. You don't know what a Togruta is. You don't know why she's important. And you love her anyway, and you respect her anyway. And I think that's why Mando is such a phenomenal gateway into Star Wars, because the crafting and the love that's put into that production makes you excited and gets you invested.
No, absolutely.
I think that touches on one of my favorite bits. There's two fights. There's the Ahsoka running around in the fog, just murdering people. And then there's at the end when Luke shows up and demolishes an entire platoon of dark troopers. Both of those are examples of, we've seen Mando and Cara Dune and Fennec and Bo-Katan all be incredible badasses. They've just flown through life and destroyed, huge crowds of people. And they get shown up so entirely by an actual Force user that it recalibrates the power level a little better. Because in the Clone Wars, there's really amazing stuff where Hondo or Rex or Cody or Jabo do things that Anakin and Kenobi can't do. And those are two of the greatest Jedi ever. So by recalibrating to see that a Jedi is able to do things that are utterly impossible and orders of magnitude above what a normal person can do is really cool.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I think it's really cool to be able to see those things put on display in a way that can be kind of, and going back to Anna's point about how it's for both those who have watched before and those who are watching now. And I think that carries on, not just from the Force using standpoint of things that they've done with Ahsoka, but even for the storyline points for somebody who's only ever watched the movies. And I was thinking of that today when I was watching, because I was watching parts of season 2 today. And I started off watching episodes 9 and 10. By the way, episode 10, chapter 10 is pure nightmare fuel for me. That's the one with all the white spiders climbing everywhere.
Oh yeah, I love that episode.
Oh God, really?
Dang near threw my remote at the TV during that episode. I have a spider phobia anyway. That doesn't do me any good. I was curled up with a blanket, just like rocking back and forth.
Even the sound effects, I feel personally victimized by.
Yeah, they were awful.
So I loved seeing those spiders back from Rebels and from Knights of the Old Republic because it's the same model. I loved seeing David Filoni in an X-wing.
Yes,
and I love seeing like two old fighter pilots, like middle-aged kind of schlubby dudes, like show up in X-wings and be like, pull over, and he's like,
You know what the best part about the Filoni bit though is? I didn't recognize till today that it was Filoni.
Till today, like just now today, or
no, not just now today, like earlier this afternoon. I was watching it and I was like, yeah, shut up, John. No, I was watching it today and I actually hit the 10-second back button on my Roku and I was like, is that? Oh my, holy crap, that was Filoni. But yeah, I never recognized that before. That's Keon Young in the other seat, the other, but I recognized him, but not Filoni in the other X-Wing. So.
Go ahead, Josh.
I was just going to say, I think that one of the joys of watching the first season of The Mandalorian has got to be just trying to solve the mystery, right? Behind Baby Yoda and all that. That is just the absolute joy. And then just, like, okay, is that because of this? Is that because of that? Is he an experiment? Is he a clone? Is he, like, all these theories were like popping out of the woodwork, and I loved that. And then I think season 2, it was all about there was 3 major characters that came to season 2. There was Bo-Katan, Ahsoka, and then there was the very last episode. Spoiler alert, Luke Skywalker.
There was Boba Fett. There
Oh
was
yeah,
also
Boba Fett. Oh my gosh, I forgot Boba Fett. You see what I'm saying though? But so season 1 was like all about the mystery and also just setting the scene, and it was great. And then there was season 2 that was it just made it even way better. They took advantage of all those characters to introduce. It was just great.
I think the worst part about season 2 is that they teased Boba coming into the season. We knew that he was coming.
Yeah.
And then we saw him at the end of chapter 9 standing on the top of the rock, and he turns around and he faces the camera for a second. And you're like, yes, it's Boba. We're going to get... And then we had to wait for like 4 episodes to see him again. And I was like, you jerks.
See, that's the thing I love about Mando. Now that I'm coming back to Mando as more of an established fan, Mando is like a burlesque tease where they keep teasing elements of the Star Wars universe, right? Like, we're on Mando, but we're like, no, show us everything else,
So when is the new season? We don't know when the new season of The Mandalorian is going to air. I don't think that's been voiced yet, but the Book of Boba Fett does start on December 29th.
So according to online and all the releases, it's saying early 2022.
Cool.
Really?
For season 3 of Mando.
That's the hope. They thought it was going to be Christmas Day this year, but then, it seems like it's going to be 2022.
Yes,
Right.
please. I've been a good boy, mostly.
So
yeah, actually watching the finale last night, I felt like I would have been okay if Mando had ended and they had split it into its constituent shows. If you had Ahsoka and Rangers of the New Republic possibly, and ObiWan's not really part of that, but moving on in that direction, I think.
Sam, give the people what they want. It's Baby Yoda.
I just like watching Boba Fett with a gaffy stick take apart stormtroopers like they're Legos.
So
that was pretty incredible, wasn't it? He was rocking an absolute dad bod and just whooping stormtroopers like they were nothing.
There's something so primal
Gave me
about
hope.
like getting like weird triggered on violence by watching like shattered plastic somewhere. Like, I was like, oh god, the pain, the agony. It's shattered plastic, it's Lego pieces, but maybe that's a core memory for me.
As I believe Captain Rex said, they don't build these like they don't make the armor like they used to.
Yes.
Trying to get himself in there. That's such a great scene. I love it.
Yeah.
One of the things I loved about The Mandalorian is they did delve deeper into creatures in the Star Wars universe, as well as the culture of like the Sand People.
Yes.
That's actually one of the things I was going to bring up.
That's right.
Because
long overdue.
Yeah,
the Crate Dragon episode is awesome.
All we ever know of these guys are they're horrible people that go around raiding things. Well, why are they raiding? Well, they're raiding because, you're kind of on their territory. And
your people have clean water.
That's it.
Yeah. Can't really... when you see it from that perspective, you're like, okay, all right, so you've invaded their land and you've taken their clean water. Yeah, I get why they're raiding all the time. I get why they're ill-tempered and they have bad people skills. But I liked the fact that when you see Mando sitting around the fire with them and their sign language, that's part of how they're communicating. And then there's a certain, level of a guttural communication. I don't want to call it grunts because that doesn't seem fair. But there's a guttural communication level there is how they get, expressions between the sign language and the,
So what's interesting is I do know sign language relatively well, and watching what they were saying versus what was translated to us, it was slightly different, and I was like, oh, that is interesting. I don't have any examples for you. Sorry.
I believe that it was actually a professional linguist and like deaf actor advocate who came up with a custom language, a custom sign language for that scene.
That's cool.
So a lot of the sign language seemed very... I was able to read it.
I mean,
But-
I imagine that it's easier to start with a made-up language that's
Yeah.
similar to something you already have.
Yeah, and I'm sure like the grunts and stuff might add certain feelings and stuff into that language.
Nick,
There's-
did it
there's-
seem more polite or more like brusque? What was the vibe like?
You put him on the spot now.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
It did come off to me a little very close to deaf culture, actually. Kind of like very straightforward and just tell you how it is kind of thing. Like that, and I don't know what the grunts part meant, but I'm sure in some way it would be like a facial expression. Because like in sign language,
It's very expressive through the face.
Yeah, it's expressive through the face, and certain words could mean different things based on your face.
Through face and body motion,
So-
how it's conveyed.
It's context.
Yeah.
I also want to say that I know that I can't be the only one in this show tonight who hoped that when Nick said, I know that the next words were going to be, I can speak Tusken Raider, and he was going to show us examples of the guttural speech. I was like, oh.
One thing I noticed that I loved in one of the Boba Fett episodes, it was the one when Mando takes Grogu to the Seeing Stone. And we see Boba communicating with Fennec in the clone sign language that we see in the Clone Wars, and we
Yes.
see in the Tartakovsky 2003 Clone Wars as well. I'm speaking a little out of turn because I haven't actually seen it, but I know it's there.
Yes, it is. I there's a lot of nice little tie-ins to not only the movies but the animated shows and things like that throughout the series. Now, and I don't know if you guys noticed this either, but when they were taking the speeders out to where the crate dragon was at, the ranger whose name all of a sudden I cannot think of, played by Tim. What's that?
Cobb Vanth.
Thank you. Played by Timothy. I was going to say
Justified.
played by Timothy Oliphant. I could remember the actor's name. I couldn't remember the character. How bad is that?
Well, he's always
Anyway.
Timothy Oliphant.
Yes, he's
great in that
always
role, though.
he's perfect as Timothy Oliphant. But if you guys noticed or not, but that was one of the pod racer engines that was turned into a speeder.
Yeah, I noticed that. I
So-
enjoyed that, and we recently on a cold day watched Force Awakens, and it looks like Rey's speeder is made out of a pod racer engine too.
Yeah.
I love that recycling in the Star Wars universe.
I do too. I think it's really cool. It's a gentle nod to other shows and things to kind of, gently tug at those memories and emotional heartstrings. So I think that's pretty cool. So we've talked mostly about Mando, but what do you have hopes for, just briefly, for any of the other shows moving forward? What are you hoping to see? Because personally, I'm hoping that the Book of Boba Fett for season 1 is just the Book of Boba Fett, that it's not a lot of interloping with Mandalorian's arc, but I hope that season 2 that they kind of cross paths a little more, because they're in the same area. They're in, and Boba's picking up at the end of season 2 for Mando and starting his story from there. So I'm hoping that we can kind of see a little bit more of inner working of the two shows.
So I got a little more of an opposite feeling on that, Tim, because I don't think the Mandalorian would be the Mandalorian without Baby Yoda in some form of fashion. So last we saw was he took off with Luke.
I don't think we're gonna see him for a while.
I know. So like I'm okay with maybe even the Book of Boba Fett touching on where at least Grogu is at in some form of some fashion, so that way we get an idea of where he is at, because I feel like they need to bring him back with Mando in season 3.
Yeah, I'll tell you that the non-fans, the casual fans that are in my network think that the Book of Boba Fett is Mando season 3. So Nick, I think that's a great point, that if there's no Baby Yoda, maybe it's a little bit of a bait and switch for them. I will tell you what I am extremely excited about for Book of Boba Fett specifically. There's a moment at the end of the season 2 finale of Mando when it's 4 powerful women in one room. We get Bo-Katan, we get Fennec, we get Casca, and we get Cara Dune, and they're the muscle. And if we got more of that energy in Book of Boba Fett with Fennec being the strong arm, oh my God, that would be incredible.
Right. No, I think it'd be really cool. I think I really love Ming-Na's progression of the character of Fennec Shand and how she's developed her, not just from the animated side, but now the live action and everything they're doing there. And I would really like to. I'm excited to see her to be the right hand of Boba in this upcoming season, because I think that she's one of those characters that you've seen through the animated series and you got to see a little bit of in Mando season 2, but I really think that she's a character that they could really flesh out and show a lot about her and her development, and you really get to see how awesome she is.
So Josh had a little thing he wanted to share.
Share, Josh.
It's like my favorite scene from the movie here.
Do it.
Here, let's see here.
I got it.
You got it? Nick's got it. This is my all-time favorite scene. And we don't need sound whatsoever. He steals the backpack, runs off. All right.
And here
3,
we go.
2, 1.
Yes.
Baby Yoda's like so impressed here.
Can we have a shout out for Baby Yoda throwing up blue space macaroons in season 2?
Yes.
I love that.
I love him stealing those cookies. That was the best.
So I think Mandalorian's gonna split into sort of a dual path show that we've seen a few of. I think there's going to be, because wasn't Sebastian Stan recently cast as medium-aged Luke? And so if you've got Luke and Grogu on one path with, either half of each episode or every other episode or something along those lines, I really think Mando 3 is going into Mandalorian politics, and there's going to be Game of Thrones-esque backstabbing between Bo-Katan and the House of Ren, the House of Kurz, and Mando because of the Darksaber, as well as whatever they do with Moff Gideon.
Ooh.
But I am really excited for Obi-Wan. I think Obi-Wan is going to be such an interesting character development. I maintain, and don't cover your ears, baby, that the Rebels fight in you guys know what I'm talking about, is like the best Star Wars fight. That is the best lightsaber fight, and it is unbelievable to me. Yeah. Josh
I know what you mean now. Yeah.
That the elements leading up to that are really interesting, particularly because Obi-Wan's journey is going to be one of self-reflection and like spiritual growth.
Yeah.
And that is something which I would love to have explored by a big name, top tier TV show, is something like take some time, explore yourself. And then Boba Fett, I just look forward to him crushing some faces. I think it might be more like season 4 of Clone Wars. A lot of the violence, gang stuff,
hitting people with his stick.
Baby Yoda being about 50 years old, you could actually see Obi-Wan kind of lining up with that timeline, and perhaps you'll see kind of more of the creation and reason behind Baby Yoda and Obi-Wan. Who knows? I don't know. That was just an interesting thought. Hey, that time works out.
What are we hoping for out of Ahsoka?
Awesomeness.
More Ahsoka.
I'm hoping for Thrawn. I'm honestly hoping to see Ezra.
Ezra. I want to see Ezra.
I'm hoping that happens. I don't see why it wouldn't happen. They've cast somebody as Sabine, and I can't remember her name. It's a hard to pronounce name, and I will just slaughter it out. So I'm not going to try.
And she's like a Italian Japanese actress, so it's a real looking.
But it's an amazing cast. You hold up the picture of this young lady next to a picture of Sabine Wren, and they're side by side identical. It's amazing. that they found somebody who looks like Sabine. So I'm very excited about that. I would like to see what happens with Ezra. I want to know what happens, and I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to crush things for Anna moving forward. But I want to know what happens with Ezra after the end of Rebels, and where he goes and what happens, and so to bring that back full circle would be really very cool.
Sorry, and also thank you.
No,
We're moving as fast as we can.
No, you know what? I hate people who do spoilers, and I don't want to ever be the guy who does the spoilers. So I try to be very cognizant of that and how I'm phrasing some of my nerd wishes over here. But yeah, so I think it's really very cool. I think we have some opportunity to see some neat character development that we didn't get to see in the animated series of some of these characters. In ways that just isn't able to happen. And I am very excited. One of the things I'm most excited for about ObiWan is the return of Hayden Christensen as Darth Vader.
Oh, yeah.
I want him to get the redemption that he deserves. The fact that his character was so poorly written in the prequel trilogy is not his fault. He played the character he was assigned, he acted it the way he was directed to act it. He's an outstanding actor on his own right in other shows, and I think that given proper direction by Filoni and Favreau, that this honestly could be a very nice redemption for him, and we get to see an actual Darth Vader that makes me giggle like he used to. So,
Sam, do you want to talk about your Clone Wars prequel rehabilitation theory?
Which one is that? Oh, right. Yeah. So, okay. I actually did want to talk about this. So I maintain, because I'm of the age where the prequels came out and all of the people who were slightly older, I enjoyed them, but all the people who were real nerds, slightly older than me, hated them. And it's after the Clone Wars came out and the memes, right, that it started becoming recognized as a work. I feel like Mando and these series that are upcoming are going to be doing that for the sequel trilogy. And I think that part of that, I think that part of that is actually, oh gosh, what's her name? The mechanic who works for Mando says he doesn't look strand cast as she's talking about Grogu. And strand cast, he's too pretty for that. But then you imagine someone else who might be cloned, like Snoke, and you see that this cloning, and that seems to be the direction that Mando is going.
To be fair, I think she does say that he looks too ugly to be strand cast. Blasphemy.
It's there.
Different strokes for folks.
All right, well, cool. Yeah, I think we have some opportunity to see some really cool things coming up. Again, we're going to start wrapping up here. We've got a couple things we want to end up on, but again, thank you guys for coming on. Both Anna and Sam. Really appreciate you guys coming here and putting up with our nonsense and being on the show. Again, if you would please remind everyone where they can find Growing Up Skywalker.
You can find us on all of the major podcasting platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. You can also go to growingupskywalker.com. And we love listener holocrons, so feel free to DM us on social media or send in an email to growingupskywalker@gmail.com. And we have special Patreon exclusive bonus series as well, Spice Run and Sam's Naval History Minute. So feel free to subscribe to those if you want to nerd out about Star Wars naval warfare.
It's also where we do like bang, marry, kill for villains and stuff like that.
Yes, it is tons of fun.
All right, cool. That is fantastic. All right. Well, and guys, as I said before, I'm a subscriber. I love the show. I strongly encourage everyone to go check out Growing Up Skywalker. If you are a fan of Star Wars and you'd like to hear people talk about Star Wars a little more in depth than what we do here on this show, this is definitely the show to go check out. It's a show that you can watch without feeling like your either extreme knowledge of Star Wars or your extreme lack of Star Wars knowledge is being put on display, but being appreciated and celebrated. So
thank you all so much. It has been such a total pleasure.
Thank you.
Awesome.
And I was going to pronounce it Ann A and Sam A. So
those are our droid names.
Yes, exactly. If we grew up on Tatooine, those are our names.
There you go.
So last Friday, our guest was Larry Cedar, Larry is an accomplished on-screen and voice actor who has over 200 acting credits to his name. You have seen or heard him on shows like Young Sheldon, various Justice League animated shows, Star Wars, The Old Republic video game, and Star Trek, and more. Roll it, Tim.
Hi, I'm Larry Cedar, and you are listening to the Funny Science Fiction Podcast.
And you guys can still find that episode of Funny Science Fiction on our YouTube channel and or your favorite audio podcast providers. Remember that your subscription on the YouTube channel is a sincere major help. Please don't forget to click the like and subscribe as you watch the videos. And our guest for this week has done stunt work in movies like Jurassic Park, Austin Powers, and many others. But she's also appeared in several episodes of Star Trek: The Next Generation, Star Trek Deep Space Nine, and Star Trek Voyager, and in the 7th feature film, Star Trek Generations. So this is not a show for Tim. Not to mention her time as Lita Alexander in Babylon 5.
Hi, this is Patricia Tallman, and welcome to Funny Science Fiction Podcast.
We should do a Babylon 5 podcast.
So
Babylon 5 is so good.
You know,
perfect soundbite to come back to. I just want to
That awakened some deep stuff right there. That was.
I've not actually ever seen it, and I'm like, I have to add it to my list.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were very excited to talk with Patricia Tallman on Funny Science Fiction on our recorded episodes that come out every Friday morning. So not only was she kind enough to create some time for us, which she had to do because she's very busy, but she also took some time to answer some of our groups, our Facebook groups members' questions. So that's right, membership has its advantages. So if you're not already, join our Facebook group. Also, conveniently called Funny Science Fiction. Very easy to find. But join us this Friday morning. You can either watch or listen to that interview with Patricia, and you'll want to be sure to check out her links to her eBay store that she has an official Babylon 5 and Star Trek merchandise for the things that she gathered that she was on set. There's on set jackets and all these different type of things, some serious nerd merch. She's moving, doesn't want to take it with her, and she is having a fire sale. Anyway, it's all on her eBay store, and that link is available on the Funny Science Fiction podcast page right now.
And
you can find it there.
Her hilarious her story of her first time meeting Nathan Fillion.
Which is that picture of her and Nathan. Yeah, that was on the set of Castle. It's all I'm going to say. You have to listen or watch the episode to find out. But for someone who you have a pseudo crush on, that may not be the way you want to meet them. That's all I'm going to say. It's pretty fantastic. But yeah, Patricia Tallman, a lot of fun, and we can't thank her enough for being on the show and again putting up with us and all our hijinks. And Kathleen says, I'm only slightly disappointed you guys can actually do this without me. Yep. We sure can. No, just kidding you, kiddo. And Drayton, our group founder, says, smile all. See, I do what I'm told sometimes. And he said, Tim needs a bigger room. Actually, that's what I keep telling everybody here, but nobody listens to me. I have too many Funko Pops now. I just got another one today. And I had to put it off to the side over here because there's no more room for it.
I thought you were in a store.
No, this is my office / studio at our sign shop. So, but anyway, again, thank you guys. Thank you everybody for watching and pay attention tonight to the Funny Science Fiction Podcast. And thank you, Anna and Sam, for coming on tonight. And we absolutely no, Kathleen. That's what gets you hear less and other people hear more. Just No, I'm just kidding. We love having Kathleen on the show. She helps keep me in check when Nick doesn't say the things that he should to tell me to shut up. So anyway, guys, thank you very much. That's going to conclude us tonight for Funny Science Fiction.
Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
all. Have a
Have a
great
good
week.
one.
On behalf of the rest of the hosts of Funny Science Fiction, we'd like to thank you for listening to this episode. If you'd like to be a guest on one of our future episodes, please contact us by means of our Facebook group, Funny Science Fiction. You can find us on Twitter or Instagram using the handle @FunnySci-Fi, or you can go to DraytonAllen.com and click the Contact Me link at the bottom of the page. Thanks again. Hope you enjoyed the episode.